Hey guys, so welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So I wanted to answer questions from the community page. I put up a post yesterday. I will answer as many as I can on this one video. I might split it into different videos because I'm sure there's a lot of questions, and even answering questions makes me a little tired, so we'll see how this goes. But first of all, I get to that. Any way to support me is down below. Merchandise is now in a shop that you can find, and there is specific merchandise to help Justice go to trainings for searching for missing people. That's been my dream for many, many years, and I'm trying to get to where we can achieve it. We're a little behind on everything, along with any support that you give me goes towards me being able to not be stressed as I do my work, because I've got a lot of things right now that's kind of stressing me out a little bit, but hey, that's life. What can we say? So anyway, to support me is down below. I'm still offering the jewelry, as I always say. I can make it for you. Specifically, I'm behind on that because I've been down and out for about a week or so. There's been a lot of aspects going on with the astrology that's kind of spurring me up. We had the conjunction of Mars and Jupiter, and then I had the Pluto in my first house itself, which is like me kind of blowing myself up and starting over, changing the way that I am online, and being a little like having more confidence and going in a direction I've never gone before. Out with the old, in with the new, so the saying goes, sort of another awakening. It's been really tough, and about a few days before the full moon, that's when I felt everything. I felt a little bit of it today, and I'm a little tired today, but I wanted to get on here and get some things done because I've been struggling, so I appreciate your patience with that. Also, I do have the Otter Spirit bracelet. I'll put a commercial at the end of this if you have not seen it, and if you want to support me, I'm an ambassador for that. That is also found in the link tree and in the description box. In the past, we need to evolve, learn, and grow. We should be about progression, love, compassion, and understanding, and above all, informed. I am about unity, not division. Violence doesn't solve problems, it creates them. I'm about justice because it matters. Above all, I'm about love over hate. I get frustrated when people can't see through muck. That's okay, that's their path. I will pray for them. We all need to be hopeful, kind, and understanding. Having free will is important in your life. It's your life, not mine. These are, and I am all about learning and understanding. So again, anytime I give suggestions or whatever, you don't have to listen. But knowing what this channel is about, we're always going to vibrate in light as much as we can. Yes, we talk about dark things, but that's where we need to stay, is in a higher vibration. Vibration is important, and it goes along with who we stand with. I love you no matter what. Those that are supportive, thank you, and hope you understand it's been my duty from Spirit to try to speak out, although I don't feel it made a difference. It felt good to do so, I guess. Awakening of sorts. All I want is as much peace as we can attain. Yes, there'll be negative things. That's part of life, dark and light. And another thing, I had people get mad because I posted a download about Kamala. I did not choose to do a download on that. That is what Spirit chose, and that is what Spirit gave me. I don't know if anybody knows what a psychic download is, but it's something you do not have control over. It literally is Spirit speaking through you, and you have no choice but to share that. So if people unfollow it because they don't want to hear the truth, or they don't like the truth that I speak, that's not my problem. That's the truth that Spirit had given me. So you can either respect it, like it, not watch it, I don't care. So I just want to put that out there, as sometimes I'm not in control of what I talk about. Sometimes I'm not in control of what I share with you guys. This is not a political channel, but sometimes Spirit takes me where they want me to go, and this selection happens to include a criminal. This is light versus dark battle, go forward or go back battle. Part of my job is to expose the dark, even if no one listens, even if people don't agree with me, even if I'm persecuted for it. I know my truth in my heart and my connection with Spirit, and it is what it is because I trust them and they trust me. I do what they ask, even if people don't like it, because that's my duty. That's my oath I made to them with my gifts. That is what part of being a light worker is. It's because of them I help those grieving, give guidance to those who need it, and give victims a voice. No matter who those victims are or who the perp is. I have a calling, and sometimes that includes things people don't want to hear. Oh, freaking well. Always stand in your power. I saw Kamala tell a young girl, always hold your chin up, and that's what I'm going to do, or that's what I'm doing. We have to have integrity in whatever we choose to do in life and authenticity. Remember why you are here on this channel. Remember why you follow me, because I've proven Spirit's voice, because I'm authentic, because I follow ethics, love, light, and spirit. So people can respect that or not. This is always spiritual warfare, and I will always be me. Divine feminine is important. Our voices are important. The time is now. United, we need to stand. That is all. And I have a lot of people come from a place of judgment, a place of community. Post for your questions. Because of Mercury retrograde, I have been hugely misunderstood. As was when I post on the community page, I wanted people to ask questions because I've always wanted to answer certain questions for people. I've done it in lives and whatnot, but I know that some people can't come to the lives, and I know that people might have questions that they're needing answers to. And so this wasn't personal questions. Okay, this was like spiritual wisdom questions. And I will only answer from my perspective. I can only answer from my experience and if there's anything that's given to me. I might not be able to answer all the questions because I may not know the answer. Okay? So don't think I'm picking and choosing one question over another. If I don't answer it for one, it will be in another video maybe, or for two, I need to think about it. For three, maybe I don't have the answer. I don't know. Okay. So China Nicole asked, how do you know when Spirit is trying to talk to you? So it's different for everybody. What people have to understand is we all have different abilities. We all have different ways that we tune in with Spirit and different ways that we communicate with them. You have to come up with your own communication with Spirit. It's like learning a brand new language. So it just depends. Me, for one, I tap in usually to speak with Spirit. If Spirit has anything that they want to tell me, it will pop in my head randomly. And this is just from my perspective. You may feel a presence, feel like you're being watched. You may have chills, tingles. You may just start getting like images of things. Okay, so that's Spirit communicating. If it's coming out of nowhere, you're not thinking about it, it's anything you would be thinking about, it's usually Spirit. It can be your guides, loved ones, depending on what the information is. So usually whenever they come to me randomly, I will get something random. I will see something random. It does not sound usually like a voice, although sometimes people can hear Spirit like a voice outside their head. It usually is internal. Everything that I see, experience, and feel is internal. Most of the time it is that way for people, but it's not always that way for everybody. It depends on what your gifts are. So sometimes people's ears will ring. Mine has done that before when they want my attention. And sometimes, again, I'll feel chills and whatnot. Whenever I'm feeling the chills or the tingles, it's usually truth. Like if I'm giving a reading, that's usually what it's truth. And I'm feeling the strong energy of Spirit. But usually there's not, in my opinion, from my experience, there's not anything that's really big that Spirit's trying to talk to you. It's just you're getting visions, images, words that you know are not your own or they're coming from somewhere else. And that's when you have discernment on what's coming to you and what's coming from you. So a lot of people, it's not really like I think it's different for everybody. Okay, I'll just start getting images or things. Like I said, when I sit down and start typing, sometimes Spirit will come to me that way because I am in a zone, I am in a meditative state. Sometimes if you're in a more creative meditative state, you're doing something creative. You like whenever I make my jewelry and stuff, I'm in that creative space. It's kind of a meditative space. I do, get things sometimes. When I'm typing, my guides or Spirit will speak through me. That's why auto writing is really good for me, especially where my Mercury is located with Aquarius. So it's easy for me to download and type when I'm in a focused mood of typing. So you can try to do that once you learn how to auto write. That's a good way. And it's usually when you're not thinking, you're just typing, you're just doing, it's just coming, it's just flowing. That's it. I, for one, can sometimes see what they look like, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it just all depends on spirit. Sometimes they will, and I only see them in my mind's eye. Okay, some people can see them with their eyes, I cannot. So I see them with my mind's eye. I can see them, they're like far away without glasses, is how I see them. So say I were to take off like my glasses and everything was kind of blurry, I usually see them that way. Sometimes they will break down the, what are they called? Like I made a funny joke about kind of Build-A-Perp when they break down the, like what eyes, face, all that. Sometimes it's like that where they will show me different things, like sometimes I have blue eyes, sometimes they have brown hair, like they will break it down for me like that. And sometimes I'll see them standing there far away, and I have to kind of like, if I took off my glasses, if I would look far away, I'm completely blind without my glasses, so it would be like a blurry figure. Maybe looking through like a dirty glass is another way to explain it. Sometimes they're more clear, sometimes they're not. It just depends. Sometimes they're far away, sometimes they're close up. It's all in spirit. Every spirit is different, and the way that every spirit communicates is different. Sometimes they will communicate more with my clairvoyance. Sometimes they will communicate more with my clairaudience. Sometimes they will, make me know things more. So they use everything in unison, but sometimes they use more one than the other, depending on how they feel they can get their message across the easiest way. And I have to kind of put everything in together and give that to you guys, or give that to whoever I'm speaking to. Is a spirit person or multiple people? Can you tell the difference? Is a spirit a person or multiple people? Can you tell the difference? I'm not sure I understand that question. Spirit is just one spirit. I mean, multiple spirits can come in sometimes, and I can't tell the difference on if I have more energies, 1, 2, 3. I just give the information, and however they validated it. It's not like they're all for me, it's not like they're all standing there in a row and saying, hey, I'm Joe, this is what I want to say. Hey, I'm Mary, this is what I want to say. It's not like that. It comes in like, this is what I'm getting. Okay, this is who it connects to on your end. And most of the time I direct connect, so it's usually always that person you want to connect with, and it's very flowy. That doesn't mean that others won't come in or they won't talk about people that are here. So sometimes multiple spirits can communicate. It just fits how it fits, who it fits, basically. Is there people that spirit doesn't talk to? So you have to be in a high vibration to communicate with spirit. That doesn't mean that your loved ones won't come through to you in a dream or not try to get to you, because sometimes they will try to. But people that are in the dark, low vibration, low energy, spirit isn't going to bother with them. That doesn't mean they don't have guides to try to guide them, but basically they're not going to come and communicate with them, because you have to be, for one, you have to learn how to communicate with them. You have to want it. And that doesn't mean that there aren't, well, we can say, okay, for people like that are addicts and they're on a lower vibration, they can attract lower energies, and a lot of times they will attract like attachments. And so your vibe attracts your tribe. If you're of a higher frequency, you're going to connect to that higher realm. If you're a lower frequency, and a lot of times doing, having addictions and things like that will cause you to like attach to the lower energies and the lower vibe, basically. So yes, doing those kind of things can open you up to the darker realm, to the lower vibration. But usually if they want to communicate, they will try to communicate. And if it's through a medium, I've never had a problem getting spirits. There's only a couple times I've struggled with it. One, it was because I don't think he was on the other side anymore. It was really, really a long time since he passed, and it's different for everybody, but usually they wait 50 years is about that. But they kept showing me a baby being born, and they would not give me any information on him. So that does happen if they've come back. but usually I can communicate with anybody I try to communicate with. But the communication will differ. Sometimes it'll be very, very strong. Sometimes it won't be very strong. Usually how they were in life is how they are in passing. And I do know that many mediums say there's different levels, so I think it depends on what level you're on as well. But usually I've been successful in always getting spirit to communicate with me, if that's what your question is. Do you have to do what they say, or can you make spirit go away? You are always in control. You always have the boundaries. Spirit does not control your life. Spirit is you. You are spirit, they are spirit. You are just an meat suit. You are just living out a human life. You are no different than them. You still have boundaries. If you don't want to be bothered, you tell them to leave. My boundaries are really strong. I'm not bothered. Unless I sit down and tap in, that's when I communicate with spirit. Our guides are supposed to protect us from unwanted entities, as well as gatekeepers, but at the same time, sometimes other spirits are strong enough to get in. Sometimes mediums are more open. It's all individual on that, but you are always in control. You always have to have boundaries. That's what I like to tell people. Okay? So I think, okay, so that was all the questions for China. Thank you very much for those questions. Hopefully I answered them correctly and answered everything that you needed. Best of, my first love, Eric Sanchez. He was 19 and now 17, was unlawfully killed by the police officer while making a traffic stop in 1989. Well, I see Eric in heaven, even if he's already been sent back to Earth by the time I pass. If Eric was killed today, okay, so this is from Beth. It all depends on the life path. I mean, I can't tell you. Normally, from my understanding, spirit will wait till you get there to see them before they decide to reincarnate. However, there are exceptions to that rule. It depends on what the spirit wants to learn. If they want to come in at a certain time, they'll come in at a certain time. So that's all dependent on their life path and if they're still there or not. Sometimes it's, like I said, it can take up to 50 years. There's no time on the other side, but there is here. So that's human years before they want to reincarnate. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It's all dependent on when they want to come back to Earth to learn more lessons. And a lot of times, again, they do wait for us, but sometimes if it takes a long time and they want to come back for whatever reason, they can do that. It's all on, it's all depending on their soul contract, their journey, the time they want to come here, the lessons they want to learn, all of that. Okay? I'm sorry about your loss. Okay. Yes, and things are much different now than they were then. That's a part of evolving. Do you know, okay, so Libra Line wants to know, do you know much about crystals? Is it normal to feel energy with certain crystals? So I can never remember like all the meanings of all the crystals. I do know that everything holds energy. Everything holds vibration. I wear my crystals, you know, I wear these ones. These help me a lot. I notice the difference when I don't have them on. They absorb things for me. I notice the difference when I put these on. I've gotten used to wearing bracelets. I normally don't. Signs that I don't understand this, like signs that you're tapped into, like the crystal. Or tapped into spirit. That one I'm not really sure of the question on that. So I can't really answer that because I'm not really, I don't know how to answer because I'm not really sure what you mean. What is it about the nature for some people and feeling grounded and connected to nature signs and seeing nature in the whole world? I find it so fascinating. So it depends. Are you an earth sign? Because if you're an earth sign, you're probably more likely tapped into earth and Mother Earth. Some people are just more sensitive to that. Some people are more loving and caring and want to connect to the earth and animals and things like that. Many empaths and whatnot, that's natural for them. So it all just depends on where you're feeling connected to and where you're going, like where you're feeling connected to. And again, if you're sensitive, usually you will love nature, you will love animals, you will love things like that, because that's a part that goes with it, and you will vibrate on a frequency where you attract those kind of things. And sometimes spirit can give you signs from nature as well. And there are nature spirits and things like that as well. There's fairies and whatnot that you just can't see. They're like in a different dimension, vibrating higher, just like spirit. Sometimes, though, they do get captured in videos, and sometimes people do see them if you have a gift for that stuff. Okay, Susan Taylor says, do you have any information on shared death experiences? I have found very little on it. I was sitting by my brother's bedside as he was passing when suddenly I started having a vision, which I never had before. I saw a vision of my brother walking, and he was greeted by our father, a young vision of dad. He was 83 when he passed, and he appeared to look in his 30s. They sat on a park bench in a garden scene, which I know was probably beautiful, but it was as if I was looking through a curtain and everything was black and white. My father was talking to my brother, and my brother kept nodding his head as if to say, I understand, but I couldn't hear anything that was being said. Then I lost the vision, and he flatlined. Okay, so you were being given that vision by spirit so that you knew your dad would be okay. That was you looking through the veil or through the curtain. And the reason why you couldn't hear what was being said is they were probably communicating telepathically. Just like they communicate with us, they communicate on the other side telepathically. And yes, they drop back to an age in their 30s sometimes, or when they're most happiest, they can change over there. I've heard it's 30s, but they can really be any age that they were the most happiest at. So that was given to you because Spirit communicates telepathically so that you would know that your dad would be okay, he would be with your brother, etc. And you were just given a glimpse. And that could have been by your guides, that could have been by your dad, because at that time, we can communicate telepathically, but you were seeing what was going to happen, and it was given to you as a gift. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I understand. Hey! I'm not really sure I understand the gang spot question. Maybe if you can explain that to me a little bit more. I'm not even sure what that means. So tips for Beth wants to know tips for processing spiritual gifts, tips on enhancing the downloads to be clearer. So meditation. Some psychics will say no, some mediums will say no. That's how I learned. Because when you're channeling, you're in a meditative state. You have to learn how to shut your mind off in certain ways. That's how I first opened up. Do I meditate as much as I should now? No, because I don't make the time. That's my bad. I'd probably be a lot further along if I did. But I meditated nonstop when I was first opening my gifts. Clearing your chakras, making sure that your energy centers are clear, clearing your energy field, and also just practice. The more the tools that you use, such as, whatever that may be, tarot cards, rods, pendulums, doesn't matter. It's all an extension of you. Those are tools that you can use, and auto writing is also a tool. So, always make sure that you're protecting auto write. It's a practicing thing. Practice giving readings, and the more it's kind of like a muscle. Like the more that you practice it, the more that it will grow. The more that you work on things, the more things will grow. If that makes sense. So that's, they're not always going to be clear because it always also depends on our vibration and where we're at. And then Tracy made a wonderful post about me posting this. And then are there something or some things a person does, this is from CC or CG, a person does or has interest in life that gives a clue of what and who they were in a past life? Sometimes, a lot of our fears relate to a past life. If we're really, really afraid of water, sometimes we drown. If we're really afraid of other things, a lot of our fears can be connected to past life. Things that we're really into, for instance, if you see a kid that is playing piano like out of nowhere, more than likely that's something they did in a past life. If you see a kid that is a journalist or is very old soul for their age and doing like things that they shouldn't be doing at their age, that's usually connected to a past life. So passions, things like that can sometimes relate to a past life. So it all just depends. We've had many, many past lives as well. So it all just depends. But yes, there can be those types of clues. What does it mean to hear faintly, noticeably angelic choir or trumpet, like a victory sound? Not really sure. I would imagine it's from angels. I would imagine that's a validation of some sort. Catherine is wanting to know, I was wondering how surrogacy is viewed, especially within families. I was surrogate for my sister-in-law a couple years ago. It's part of the soul contract. there's, babies come to your life how they're meant to come, whether it be surrogacy, whether it be adoption, whether it be you give them, you have them yourselves, it doesn't matter. Soul contracts and soul families find each other no matter what. That was your soul contract with the child and with your sister-in-law, and that was very kind of you to do. But you made that agreement before you came here. There's nothing wrong with it. LMJ K4G said, you've mentioned the feminine energy a lot lately. Is there really a difference soul-wise between men and women, or is it just a physical thing? No, it's just a physical thing that you live here on Earth. So on the other side, we're all one. We're all unconscious. We're not male or female. We can choose to be whatever we want on the soul level. Sometimes, like I always tell people, if people come here and they're confused about their sex, they were probably that sex a lot more than the other sex in their life. So if someone comes here and like we have like the transgender and people that are gay, it's because they were, sometimes it's their soul path and they need to learn lessons from it, but sometimes they're also a little bit confused because they were, like, say, a girl a lot of lives, and this time they're coming as a guy and vice versa. So feminine and masculine make a whole. We need both. Everybody has feminine and masculine energy in them, and there needs to be more divine feminine and more feminine energy for it to be more balanced out. And there are things that a woman can do that a man cannot, and bring that type of energy, compassion, love, understanding, healing, those kind of things. A man is more masculine, right? Doesn't mean they can't bring that energy, it's just different. So we just need more of that right now to kind of balance it out, I guess. This is what Spirit's kind of making me feel. But, on the other side, it doesn't matter. It's all like light beings, light bodies over there. They can do whatever they want. But they just present whenever they come to me how you would remember them. Our spirits, okay, so Karen Kleinberger wants to know, or Carrie Ann Kleinberger wants to know, are spirits trying to communicate with you and you get random scratches appearing on your body? This is happening multiple times. But that's a negative entity, and you need to, anything that scratches you, hurts you, touches you, throws things around the room, is a negative force in any way and is very disturbing to your life. Spirit, any positive spirit would never scratch you. That's more like a demonic thing. I would suggest you go watch Lights at Midnight podcast with Chastity and maybe reach out to her if you need to, but that is something that would not happen for a light spirit of light or a good spirit. Also, my son heard his name called in the middle of the night went to the bathroom and heard people talking but couldn't make out conversation. Sounds like you've got some energies in your house. Kids can often pick it up more than we can. The astrology question, I cannot answer that question. I do not know the answer to that. I'm just learning astrology myself. I can't really tell you that. So Claire wants to know, or Claro wants to know, how do I develop my Claire abilities? Serious question despite my name. Thank you. So you're going to have the clairs that you're meant to have. We all don't have like clairvoyance. We all don't have clairaudience. You can develop them to a certain point, but you're not going to be like we won't be the same. We won't be gifted the same way. We won't work the same way. The best way is meditation, clearing those chakras that are connected to that clair ability, and just using them. But a lot of times it will be like you have one and then another one will come in if it's meant to, and they work like in unison. But some people are just feelers, like they don't see anything. So it just depends. If you're meant to develop that, you can to a certain point, but it might not be as strong as you want it. So, sometimes you have blocked chakras and whatnot that don't allow that. Sometimes you're not supposed to have those certain gifts, depending on what you're wanting to do with it. And sometimes, again, there's meditation specifically that you can do for those specific clair abilities. Okay. The messages to the loved one, that's something that's not what this is about. This is about spiritual wisdom. You would have to get a reading for that. I have to literally sit down and tap into spirits. I don't just say, like, okay, your grandma's here and they love you. Like, I don't like to do that. I like to actually give the proof, because anybody can tell you that. And I try to have the integrity to actually give you the proof that your loved one is here. Mandy, I have questions. Why me? I mean, I understand why, if it's because of my connection to spirits per se. I'm not exactly sure what to do with it and don't want to offend anyone. I also don't want to sound like I'm some cricket. I know what I see and I know what they see, but what does it all mean in the end? Thank you for this. I'm sure there's other questions that are off the top of my head. And what if I'd made the trip where, what were they going to tell me? I don't understand. That they've been here all along. They said we will show you. It's a learning process. Like anything in life, I know directions help. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I think you're asking like why you have your gifts. Usually our gifts are bestowed upon them because we're supposed to have them. Everybody's connected to the divine in some way, just some are more gifted than others, and some are like literally have it in their astrology chart. I would suggest that if you want their astrology chart done, they go to Carly, and you can find Carly Bush on Instagram and get your chart done and everything. I posted information on the community page, and that's a shout out because knowing your astrology can really help you understand your life a little bit more. I know, and yourself. I've understood myself a lot more, and I don't do the charts for people, so. But sometimes those gifts are literally in your astrology chart. Sometimes you're just at the vibration that you need to be. Sometimes you're a light worker. Sometimes you're an earth angel. Sometimes you are just a light being. Sometimes you are just a medium. Sometimes you're just a psychic. It just depends on what your gifts are. We all come from the divine. You made a pact before you came here, and you just had to awaken to a point to where you're going to work with spirit. And you can either accept that and take it in and learn how to access your gifts, learn how to control them, learn learn the language to speak to them, or you can block it off and tell them you don't want it. A lot of people do that. That doesn't mean it's going to go completely away, but this is something that you have to decide you want to do. We still have free will choice. You can tell spirit you don't want to do it anymore. You can tell spirit you want nothing to do with it, or you can learn and embrace it. That is completely up to you, and that is your path and your path alone. We're always chosen for something in life. Our path. It doesn't matter what that could be. Sometimes people are chosen to be leaders. Sometimes they're chosen to be doctors. Sometimes they're chosen to be psychic mediums. It's just the way that it is. It doesn't mean that you, like other people, regular people can't develop it, because you can. It's just going to be different for everybody. But again, you can either embrace it or you can block it. That's totally up to you. So now I'm going to go answer questions from the Psychic Sleuth group. If you're not part of that Psychic Sleuth podcast group, you can find the link in the link tree, also in the link for YouTube. It's there as well. So Michelle wants to know, when spirit comes to you, do you just see visions and then hear things in your head that they tell you so you get parts of the puzzle? How do you tune out when you want to sleep, rest, or do you always have stuff going around in your head from spirit? So I always have to tap in. That doesn't mean that I won't get random things. Now, this is my experience. There are people where spirits come to them randomly. They see them with their eyes, all that kind of stuff. I don't really have that. Could I probably develop it more? Maybe if I took time to do meditation, which I should probably kick myself for. So when they come to me, I tap in. I tap into their energy. I direct dial. Or I literally let spirit know I'm ready to work. So that's my boundaries. So they don't come unless I try to tap in or I try to get information. Then yes, it depends on how they want to communicate with me. So sometimes they will send me visions, sometimes it's symbols that I can relate to. Sometimes it's references, like they will show me visions of things in my childhood or things I can relate to so that I can understand it. True crime shows, things like that, different cases that I can relate things to. And sometimes they'll talk, sometimes they'll just be words, or sometimes it will be full sentences or a full channeling, like often happens with Autowrites. But in the Autowrites, I'm full channeling, and I'm also getting visions along with it. So a lot of times my clairvoyance and my clairaudience work alongside each other a lot. I'll hear it and then I'll see it, or then I have to take the feelings and knowings and all of that and put it all together as it's coming in and translate that to you guys. So that's the best way that I can explain it. So you do get parts of the puzzle. sometimes, again, depending on who you are, what your gifts are, sometimes you get more parts of the puzzle. Sometimes you're better at channeling. Sometimes things are more clear for you. And every spirit is different. So some spirits are more clear, some are not. You get what you're supposed to get for whatever reason due to timing, which is what I try to explain to people. But it is just parts of the puzzle. Sometimes it's more flowy, sometimes it's not. Every spirit communicates differently. That's how it works for me. I don't have a problem sleeping at all. I take melatonin because I've always had a problem hitting REM sleep, but it doesn't have anything to do with spirit. I don't have a problem with that. I don't get bothered. Sometimes I'll get dreams or there are experiences I have had, but I sleep just fine. And I do have a lot of thinking going on in my head because I'm an air sign, but if things come to me randomly out of nowhere, then I know that's from spirit. So I do leave that communication open if they have anything that they want to tell me. And usually that's guides about world events or cases or something like that. It has been things sometimes like a song or something for loved ones, but usually they don't come to me. I usually have to tap into them. But does that mean that there's ever been times they haven't? No, I've had different experiences and situations. It just depends. Jennifer Johnson wants to know, you may have answered this before, but how did you figure out you had this gift and was it scary at first? Do y'all have abilities like that so we know how to develop them? So I wrote a book about it, R&R Twin Flame, R&R Love, a Twin Flame Story. It's on Amazon. You can find the link in Linktree as well, or you can go to Amazon and look it up. My whole story is there. I've done several podcasts about it. Basically, I woke in after losing my twin flame, who was a very up and down relationship with. And twin flames always come in when we're off our path and we need to get on our path. That's basically how it was. After he passed, I opened up. It was like an awakening for me. It's in my astrology chart to do this, but I had to go through that to awaken. So all of that is in my astrology chart and how it happened. And this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, especially with crime due to where it's at in my chart. So basically, that's how it happened. I mean, I've always been kind of intuitive on and off in my life. I've had different kind of experiences. I've talked about on Chastity's show, like the Midnight Podcast. If you go to Spotify or I think YouTube, it was like the last one of their first season. We did a whole thing. We talked about it, and it's very interesting. Everyone wants to know a lot of experience and stuff I had. But I had this when I was in my 20s, like before my son was born. I had woken up to an angel. I was really scared, and they had handed me a necklace. She told me that at that time it was me putting on my gifts, but it was for the future, basically. So did I ever know that this is what I was going to be wanting to do? No, but nothing ever like stuck with me in my life. I never knew what I wanted to do, and I think that's a big part of it. I never had a huge passion for like, okay, I want to be this, I want to do that. It was never there, and so I had to go through awakening for this to happen, and that was how it was for me. So this is basically my path. There's nothing really else I feel like I can do, or I should be doing. Although at times I want to quit, and I get very frustrated and try to think of other things I could possibly do. Everybody has abilities. We're all connected to the divine. If you want to have them, you can have them. They just might not be to the extent you can do readings. We can all develop what we need to develop, and we'll all be different in how that we use them. Lots of meditations, tools, things like that. I kind of answered that in the beginning of this video. Nope, I didn't know any of this when I was a teen. The only thing I can really remember, because I honestly don't remember a lot of my childhood. Mom's like, "What you blocking out?" Nothing that I can think of. I had a really good childhood. I only remember feeling like I was being watched. That was it. I tried to go back into time, and I don't really remember it. So no, my first real experience was around my 20s, and my grandma had already passed away. I wasn't really sure where my religious or spiritual beliefs were at the time because I was raised Christian. But my grandma was very open. She was into like clairvoyance and things like that, but we never really spoke about that. I was a dumb teenager at the time. So I wish I would have gotten more to learn about what her beliefs were, but I'm guessing she was very open spiritually, and I do feel like it can also be genetic. It doesn't have to be genetic. I've heard somebody say it has to be genetic or to be gifted. No, it does not. It can run in families, and it would maybe stronger in families if it does. You can develop your gifts. It's not going to be the same as everybody, but you can develop something. You're all connected to the divine. But yes, it can be down the line, which mine is, from my understanding. Tammy, this is a long one. So I live in a 100-plus-year-old house. The first house burned down. This was built. This one was built. I know there was death in the house. We have lots of activity here. I see someone walking outside. He walks past the windows and doors. Things are moved and misplaced in the house. I hear my name being called. I have seen someone standing at the bottom of the stairs. Someone has walked into my room. I've been touched several times. It doesn't scare me. What bothers me is my daughter has been scratched several times, and my sister too. My son swears something chased him down the stairs. Okay, so a lot of negative energy and stuff can actually manifest demons and darker energies. So anything that scratches you is something that's dark. I would watch like Lights at Midnight podcast again and talk to Chastity about anything like that. That's really her wheelhouse. Sometimes I can see them and whatnot and tell you kind of what's going on. It seems like you have a lot of activity there, and it might be related to the land as well, and there might be imprints. And again, negative energy can create darker things like that. You could even have a portal is what I'm hearing. So there's things that need to be done about that. And I would suggest again that you go, you just have a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of different things. If a dog is barking or growling, that's also letting you know there's spirit. Kids are very sensitive to that stuff, so anything a kid tells you, believe it. So yeah, it seems like you've got a lot of dark energies and imprints there. And I'm hearing malevolent. Malevolent, so you might have a malevolent spirit or something that is like a demon or demonic that is. This is dark energy, kind of energy. Like this is dark energy activity, and I do feel like it's related to the land as well. So, but things that happen can also leave imprints, which also leaves dark energy. So all that exists. Tara, what does heaven look like? Can we all do whatever we want? I imagine a beautiful color, beautiful souls amongst everything. So yes, from my understanding and from my experience and what I've seen of heaven, it's basically you can have any kind of heaven that you want. You can do anything you want. There's no negativity. There's only peace and love. We're all light beings on the other side. We don't need to eat because we don't have stomachs or any ways to process it. I don't know if that means like you can still taste things if you want to taste them. I imagine you can manifest anything you want to manifest. We have a life review, and we go. Now there are different levels, but this is the way that I view heaven. I don't know a lot about the different levels. I know that on a higher level we have like our angels and guides and stuff, and then there's different dimensions and different levels. That's a lot to get into that I don't know a whole lot about. I just know what the other side is about, and it's the most vibrant, beautiful colors you will ever see. It's filled with light. It's the most vibrant. They show me like a really gold castle, so it's kind of like Earth, but a billion times better in terms of how it looks, how it is. There's no negativity. There's no hate. There's no anger. There's only love. You don't need to learn lessons there because you learn them here. So there's love, peace, understanding, and all of that. And it's the most beautiful place you ever see. And you can do whatever you want. Be with all your loved ones. Be with your pets, and create kind of your own heaven. Okay. Amanda wants to know, when you speak to people, do their loved ones that have passed on that want to connect or send a message just show up, or does spirit relay message for them? I usually communicate directly to the spirit, but there are guides present, if that makes sense. Sometimes they can help them communicate or whatever. So I think that's all the questions I had. If you guys want to continue this, you can continue asking questions, and I'll continue checking. But I did get to all of them, and it did kind of make me actually tired. So I hope that this was helpful and informative, and that you guys like this. Let me know if you do. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Really quick, I wanted to talk to you about a company that I am really excited about partnering with, and that is Otter Spirit Company. They do gemstone bracelets, and they are some of the best gemstones in the world. And there's nothing that ever falls below grade A gemstones when they're making their bracelets. They go through rigorous testing, hardness testing, heat resistance, and scratch tests, and a color inspection. So I actually got the Aquarius pack. I love the Aquarius pack. They forgot to send me the card for the amethyst, but they did send me cards for the other ones and their meanings of them, of what the bracelet means and what the gemstones mean. So as most of you know, I'm an Aquarius. So of course there's an amethyst one on here. And I really think it's cute that they have the little sea otter on here, and I will explain to you why they have the little sea otter in just a minute. But they have the amethyst, and they have the lapis lazuli. I'm probably saying that wrong. But this means I am connected to the infinite wisdom of the universe. It is for wisdom and tuition. The zodiac signs are Taurus, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Libra, which is my moon. And it is for the third eye and throat chakra, which is really good because I am a psychic. So it's always nice to have my third eye intact. They also gave me aquamarine, which this one is really, really pretty. So this is about I navigate life with calm confidence. It's about balance and confidence, which I need. It's also, again, zodiac signs are Pisces, Libra, Cancer, and Gemini, and it's for your throat chakra. And so it gives you a care guide on how to take care of them and everything. They come in really cute boxes and really nice packaging. And each one tells its own story. You can choose what you want. You can choose the packs that they have together, which is what I got. So like I got the Aquarius Libra pack, but I think it was just the Aquarius pack, and this is the way these are what came with it. And the reason why I was so excited to partner with them is because they help with conservation efforts for the otters. They're actually based out of Monterey Bay, and which are the California wild sea otters. And the wild sea otters are almost neared extinction at one time. And so now they're slowly recovering the conservation efforts. They support organizations like the California Coast Keepers Alliance and Monterey Bay Aquarium. So that's one reason why I really love this company. And I think it's really cool that they actually have little otters. I love otters. I don't know about you, but otters are about family. And if you look up the meaning of otters, they have a really special meaning. So I think it's really cool that they put them on each of their gemstones. So when you are buying one of these, you are actually helping with the conservation efforts of the otters, which was one reason I chose to partner with them because, I sell my own gemstones things. I don't sell anything like this, but I just thought, you know what, these are really good quality. I really like that you can get your zodiac signs, and I think you can either get you can pick them yourself if you want to. You can just get your zodiac sign. You pick what you want. And it's a family owned brand. They care. They've been very, very sweet through this whole time. And they have a wide selection, and you get free exchanges into your warranty. So that's a great deal. And again, they're very well made. They're very hard. If you have a 2-year warranty, if you're rough with them like I am with things, I don't think it'll break. So if you're interested, and you want some gemstone bracelets, there is a link below, but make sure to get your 20% off of your order that you the code Rachelle20. That's RACHELLE 20. I think it has to be all caps, but that's Rachelle20, and that will give you 20% off of your order if you decide to order any of these gemstones. And honestly, they might seem a little expensive, but they're totally worth it because they are gemstones. They are real legit gemstones. And again, you're helping the conservation of the otters. And I love their name, Otter Spirit. It's a beautiful company. And so I was so excited to partner with them in this.
Till next time.